I'm joined today by one of the top bantamweight fighters in the world. He is the Brave CF Bantamweight Champion, and he joins me ahead of his first title defense. That'll happen on December 15th in Bahrain at Brave 80. Shorty Torres joins me right now. Shorty, welcome to the show. Honor to have you on, and Merry Christmas.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on. Happy late Thanksgiving and early Merry Christmas. I appreciate you. I heard your voice in a room not too long ago, and then about a month later, I'm talking to you. So it's awesome, man.
Hey, it's a small world. Shorty, Brave CF. This is your fifth fight for them, and I really didn't know a whole lot about this promotion. The news waves hit that you'd signed with them back in 2019, and I kind of wanted to ask you, what's your experience been like with these guys over the past few years?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, our whole career, especially in the States, all we know is UFC. And then, some of the, in a sense, second promotions, Bellator, now PFL coming up, stuff like that. But in 2018, it was really just Bellator. And I was in talks with both, but eventually I ended up signing with the UFC in the flyweight division. But I got signed to a dying weight class. So when I got signed, there was very little money. It was very little respect. They're already in talks without me knowing that they were going to release the flyweight division or probably going to do so. And then when I ended up the same night that Demetrius Johnson lost, we both lost that same night, and they traded him to ONE FC. And I immediately was like, "Ah, you traded the UFC's best champion in his history. You gave him no respect, and yeah, he's gonna go make money somewhere else, more money somewhere else, and get a lot more respect." But he got released. I was like, they're not going to keep us. And when I got released eventually because of that statement, I was like, I need to find a new home that's going to respect me or what I believe the UFC was going to be. And that ended up being Brave. I've known the owners and the people behind the scenes of Brave for years, and it just ended up being like one of those, I wouldn't say unforeseen, but just inevitable homes that were going to happen. So overall, I ended up signing with them, and it was the respect, money, and overall notoriety that I expected in the UFC. But now the promotion that was just starting, Brave's only been around since 2016. I commentated their first event, and then eventually years later, I ended up fighting for them. So, and then years later, ended up being their bantamweight champion. So it's one of those things. It's like, man, this has all come full circle. It's been a good time, and they take care of me really well. The only hard part for me is like we were talking about off air. Not too many people know in the States what Brave Combat Federation is. They know the mainstream ones, PFL now, Bellator, the UFC, and then all the regional promotions, Game Bread, APFC, all these guys coming up. So me fighting a whole, I think in Las Vegas where I was training at, it's like an 11-hour difference. So these guys, it's almost what the Europeans and Asians do to watch the UFC events. They have to wake up at like 4 in the morning and watch the events. It's vice versa for the States. So they don't have as much notoriety in the US, but because of my help and because of me being champion, I know eventually one day they will.
I get excited just seeing kind of the platform kind of take off. It just seems like with people like you competing in it, that's going to draw more eyes, and that's going to make other people get interested in. And slowly and surely, we're starting to see not only guys from the Middle East, but guys from all over the world that are being filtered into this organization, and that makes for great fights. And do you expect in another 5, 10 years this promotion will evolve into maybe like a competitor for PFL?
The biggest thing right now for Brave, and they're trying to create, their own records and break records. They are the most traveled MMA promotion in the world at 30 plus countries. No promotion, UFC, PFL, Bellator, and any other promotion in the world right now has gone to that many countries. I think being here in the Middle East and the connections that they make to these countries is phenomenal because we're talking off air of Ilya Tempora, Kazma, Amir Albazi, a guy I fought, and so many more that people didn't know about. They had big records, but people didn't know about them because you're not American or you're not in the mainstream promotion. And then you get a chance to fight in the States against someone who's, whatever name. And now you make a name for yourself. Amir Albazi, I think top two in the world, fighting Brandon Moreno next in Mexico. You have Ilya Tempora fighting Volkanovski for the belt. You have Kazma, who just beat the former welterweight champion in Kamaru Usman. All these guys started their career in Brave and didn't even have the belt. All of them couldn't even get to that point and eventually went overseas and look at where they're at now. They found a different promotion, and now they're at the same place they were in Brave, that contender spot, and they're all eventually, inevitably, going to get the opportunity. So it shows how talented this promotion is. They're just, in a sense, having fighters that people don't know about. Hell, even my opponent, Nkosi Ndebele, was 6-2 when I was fighting him. Now, 6-3 because of me. It's a rematch, but I'm like, 6-2. He has half my record. Yeah, sure, he's 6 feet tall, long, skinny Israel Adesanya or Sean O'Malley like, but I'll be fine. Then he takes me to a 5-round split decision. I'm like, hey, this guy's pretty legit. Like, he might not have the record, but he's trying to change his life. He's from the third world part country of Africa. Like, this man is trying to change his life. So all these guys in this promotion, they're not American. They're not, they don't have the same opportunities that we have. If we lose a fight, all right, I'm gonna get a regular full-time job and I'll be stable. Over there, man, in certain places where they come from, Amir Al-Bazzi is a great example. He's an Iraqi refugee, training in a different country, trying to do his thing, and now he's number 2 in the world, trying to change his life. And because of his fighting style and because of the way he performs, he is changing his life and a lot of people around him. So, especially with my name being one of the only Americans in the promotion, these guys are literally trying to hurt me so they can take my spot and go, I beat Jose Shorty Torres. He had this record, 2-time, world champion as amateur, 5-time or now 6-time as a pro. It's like they're trying to beat me and take my name. If I lose, I'll be fine for the most part. These guys, they lose, they're like, oh man, I got to come all the way back. So they're all, honestly, they're all killers in the promotion. And for the guys who've gone to different promotions like PFL, Bellator, and so on have done, and UFC obviously have gone and done things extremely notable, and I'm really happy for all of it. So Brave is a formidable promotion that I believe is eventually going to come out of the woodworks and going to show up like no one else's business.
Bringing it down specifically to you, you talked about just being American and having your camps over here, and then with all of these fights happening abroad, like that creates challenges in a way. And in this case, in particular, your title defense, that's going to be happening in Bahrain. I know that you spent the past several months at Extreme, and now here we are overseas. Can you tell me what's it like just kind of putting the bow on your camp in Bahrain ahead of this fight?
I've been training here since 2015. I've been part of the team in Bahrain called KHKMMA, and man, it's just been a phenomenal adventure because I'm not just training with Bahraini locals. I'm training with guys from the Middle East, some guys from Europe, a lot of guys from Dagestan, which is again a whole different experience with those guys because they're animals. So everyone has their own expertise and everyone's always trying to help and be supportive. I think the biggest difference about the US is when you train in US, it's obviously you have some of the most talented people. This is our business over there. Like we're the blueprint, and other people are slowly following. But we're also very selfish. It's like my way or the highway. You're not helping me in my camp to get out of here. There's no one kind of goes out of the way. I mean, not everyone, but there's a lot of camps that I've been to, and Extreme Couture has been a little bit different, where people are really kind of going out of their way to try to help me. And another reason why I stayed with that gym because they're just so much fun and super supportive. But here in the Middle East, man, everyone is trying to help. If they need you to, if I go, hey man, no offense, I got to sacrifice you. I need you to jump off a mountain for me. They're like, you know what? Win. Tell me, because if it helps you succeed, I will do it. And it's like, man, in the States, no one would do that. They're like, you're crazy. You go do it. Good luck. So
Right.
it's over here when somebody makes it, everyone's supportive. Over there in the States, when somebody makes it, it's like we're gonna keep on helping you until I pass you up, and then if you can't help me, well, good luck in your career. And it's like, what, dude? I got you to, So it's been really really cool, man. And everyone's super supportive, super helpful, and it's been a good time here. And with His Highness Sheikh Khalid, who is the Prince here of Bahrain, he owns KHK MMA and supports all the team. Man, we have so many things. Like when it comes to a weight cut, when it comes to food, when it comes to the things we need in our fights, man, he's so supportive. It's phenomenal. It's something that every fighter dreams of, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to have it.
Well, it sounds like you're being taken care of over there. I want to get into the juicy stuff. Your opponent, Nkosi Ndebele, like big guy, talented guy. I watched the fight before I hopped on here with you. And no doubt, you've been in this game a long time. I don't need to tell
Mm-hmm.
you. He thinks he won that fight. He thinks
Mm-hmm.
that he's the real champion. He thinks that, you know, he had some things to say. And your reaction to just kind of post that fight, it was a close fight. I'll tell you exactly what I saw, and hopefully we can get in the nuts and bolts of
Yeah.
that one. But just your general reaction to all that, like you hear people say stuff like that, like were you kind of surprised because it seemed like you guys had some sort of like a cordial relationship at first, and then I don't know, he seems to be taking a different tone in wake of that first encounter.
Well, that's the hard part, right? When you try so hard for something, you spent, especially him and I were supposed to fight in March. The whole event got canceled. Supposed to fight in April. He had passport problems, so our fight got postponed all the way to August. So, in a sense, more than half the year is spent on beating each other up or trying to beat each other up. We get to that point, and you've trained 8 months to get there, and you're literally that close, and you lose a split decision. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'd be upset, but I'd be upset at myself and go, man, I failed. I didn't do this. I should have done that. Blah blah blah. I hope I get the opportunity again. Lucky for him, Brave wants him to fight me again. That is an entertaining fight, and he gets the honor to do so. It's like, dude, I have one loss in my career. I wish I can get that rematch, but it's rematches in this sport are so minimal unless you're at the top point of your career. And for Brave, I'm at the top point of my career here. So for him, he gets the privilege to do that rematch, and he gets that second chance. But it's like, I don't know why you're mad at me, dude. You
Mhm.
lost because of your mistakes. I did my job. So you can complain all you want, but don't call me a fake champion. Cool. I'm glad, and I hope you're changing your camp, and I hope you're doing more so you can come beat me up, because the more the better you that comes out, the better me's going to show up. And I kind of have a bad tendency of kind of dumbing myself down to make the fight a little more entertaining and enjoy myself a little bit. And I took it too easy on him when it came to, oh, I'm not in trouble, I can relax. All right, now I feel a throw. Cool, I can toss him around, do this. But with this fight, I start slow. My first round with him, cool, I lost. Not at all disputing that. Second round, maybe it could have gone to 50-50. Third, fourth, fifth, for sure, me wasn't worried about it whatsoever. So I slowly go up that mountain. I get better and better. Now we're going to the sixth round. I already know what you do. All I got
Mhm.
to worry about is possibly these maybe new little techniques that you're going to do from your camp in Bali, and maybe the things you would have done in the last fight. But after that, fight or flight kicks in that second round, and you're going to just go back to what you did the last fight. And so I believe it's going to repeat. I just actually have to show up and do what I'm supposed to do, and that's I think put him to sleep, man, because he's a guy that he will legit have his arm broken, because I had him in the armbar the fifth round, and I'm like, dude, tap. Like, I don't want to break your arm. I know these injuries, tap. And he didn't want to go. And again, it's my fault for being too merciful in a sport where I shouldn't show any mercy. And that's the thing I have to do for this next fight, especially in front of a lot of people, as I call my second home here in Bahrain. I got to put on a spectacle, and I want to be healthy for next year. I want to go home with the belt, as I have this one right here, on my couch, just laying there all relaxed. I want to have another one going home, and I want to give myself an early Christmas present, and getting that win is going to help me do that.
There were a couple things about the bout that surprised me, the Brave 73 fight. And what did surprise me, I thought his get-ups, his scrambles were really good. Like that
Hmm.
surprised me.
Me
So
too.
full credit to him. I was like, oh wow, like I wasn't expecting that. I thought, as soon as the fight made it down to the ground, I'm like, okay, well, the fight's gonna be over. Then he pops up right away. I'm like, what the hell? So hey,
and
credit to
and
him.
and even getting out of the submissions too. I had him in a very, very deep guillotine, and I'm like, man, this guy, he won't tap. Come on, man.
That was very surprising to me, but the split decision also surprised me. A lot of people said this fight was like razor thin and it could have gone either way. But I looked
Hmm.
at this going into the fifth round. I on my card, I had it a tied fight, and I was like, whoever wins this round is going to win the fight, in my opinion. You clearly won the fifth round, how I see it. You clearly won the
Hmm.
fifth round, and going into the decision, I was just like, okay, like I would give it to Torres, and it takes a while for all the scores to get tabulated, and we're standing around. It's like, okay, it's obviously going to go to split by way of just how long it's taken for the MC to come
Yeah.
back in the cage. And was that something, Shorty, that you were thinking like, okay, it's going to be a split, but just kind of based off of how all of this is going?
Kind of what you said, that mindset of like, why is it taking so long? In my head, so after every round, I could see my team, not just my corners, but my team in the audience. And I would go thumbs up or thumbs down after every single round, walk to that side. I'm like, did I win the round or did I lose the round? And coincidentally, it was three guys that would either do this or that, or, kind of like do that. And the first round, they're like, all of them. I was like, yeah, cool. I'm not worried about that. I always lose my first round. Second round, they're like, which in my head, I always say I lost. Now,
Mm-hmm.
again, all depends on the way you judge it. Cool, could have gone either way, and that's why they were that. But third, fourth, and fifth, I felt comfortable that, I mean, I still looked at them for the guidance, but they were all here. But in my mind, I was comfortable with it, like you said. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm fine, like, whatever. And then Carlos Kramer takes forever to come inside the cage. I'm like, there's no reason it should be taking this long, and then he comes inside the cage, and I'm like, all right, well, let's just go at it. And I had so much, for me, there was a lot of things going into the fight camp. I had a nice, gnarly cut before the fight that I couldn't train 3 weeks before. I had to pretty much just run and do pads with Joshua Augustine, and then, the fight in April, fight in March. This was my third attempt at the belt here because of, whatever world circumstances that came in my way. So I was like, man, come on, this is just finally up to this moment. And then you hear split decision. I'm like I felt like Scooby Doo was like, so I was like, man, just whatever happens, it's supposed to happen. That I ended up winning. I was like, it was just one of those, like, finally, man, I've worked so hard for this. But there goes the headphone. I have to keep my mindset of I want to stay at the top of the mountain. No matter what
Mm-hmm.
he says, no matter what he's doing, I want to stay productive, and especially with him and the way he's reacting after this loss, because it was so close. It was the Volkanovski Islam Makhachev first fight. Where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man, he did this. Oh, he did that. Well, hopefully in the second fight, I can get into a finish in the first or second round, and stop all the doubters. But no matter what, even if you get the finish, it was a lucky knockout or lucky submission. But man, it's part of my sport. I try my best not to complain too much about it. Where the hell does headphone go? And yeah, just having a good time, man. So I'm just excited to put on a show in front of all the Bahraini fans and for the people around the world.
I wanted to just simply ask you before I let you go, for the people that are going to be tuning in on December 15th, like you've kind of already laid it out, like this is more or less kind of what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting like a radically different Nkosi a few months after I spent 25 minutes with him. But for you, like you've been in this game for a really long time, like you're a very well versed fighter. You can grapple, you can strike, you can do it all. You've been doing this for many years.
Hmm.
Is there like a different side of you? Is there like other things, other looks that you have up your sleeve that people might see on December 15th?
What's crazy is I had a game plan going into the fight, and I threw it all out the window when I got in there. Not because of the style, not because of him. I just wanted to go in there and have a fun fight. And after after the fight, my brother's like, dude, because I usually have three goals in my head, and I try to keep those in my head because anything past that, you multitask. We're dumb, man. We can't do that. So, or at least I get punched in the head, I'll forget. So I was like, oh, let's just have fun. And my brother's like, dude, you had the three goals. Whatever happened to them? I was like, not gonna lie, I forgot all about them, and I just kind of had fun. So in my head is, let's establish those three goals. Let's hit these checkpoints no matter where the fight goes. You already know what he's good at, you already know what he's bad at, and you already know what he's going to more than likely try to do from training in Bali. I think he's going to implement more of a clinch because he grabbed me before I grabbed him. By the time I got close, he's like, no, 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 I'm grabbing you before you toss me and do this. And he's trying to knee, he's trying to elbow. And I think that's something he's going to practice a lot more, especially when he holds me against the fence, because that's what lost him the fight. But for me, I just got to have fun. I got to push the
Mm-hmm.
pace. I got to put on a show, and I have to be myself. And I dyed my hair purple. If people don't know, my hair is purple because of the whole alter ego Vegeta thing. So for me, I want to have fun with it, and I want to have my alter ego out and kind of in a sense be a jerk in this fight. If I have to, get an armbar and I have to break it, I know 100% he's not going to tab, and that's his fault. And I have to understand that. Same thing with putting him to sleep. If I got to put him to sleep to put the comments to sleep, then I got to do what I have to do to get the win, put on a show, and retain the belt and go home with another one.
You have the opportunity to end 2023 with a title defense to your name. And in the grand scheme of things, like for the Shorty Inc. perspective, where does that put you just in terms of where you're at this juncture in your career and the impact all over the world of what this would mean?
For me, I want to show to multiple people that UFC isn't the pinnacle. Other promotions are up there. You have Demetrius Johnson, champion in ONE FC. Jared Brooks, guy I beat, who's champion in ONE FC. You have myself, champion in Brave. You have so many others doing their thing. I think John Lineker is fighting for the belt next or soon in the bantamweight division of ONE FC. All the guys that left in the UFC flyweight division have done phenomenal things in their career, and I'm one of them, and I'm showing that I am still one of the best in the world. I'm only 31 years old. I have a lot of time, and me claiming this championship and inshallah, as they say, God willing, here, defend it and not just be a champion, but a dominant one at that. I'm ready to do whatever Brave asks me. If I got to fight 10 guys in the ring at once, I do so. If I bump up or bump back down to claim another belt, I do so. I just want to create the biggest resume possible because for me, I want to own a gym and say, these are my accolades. I fought every type of style you can think of. I've cornered every type of style. I've helped fighters, so for me, I want to be able to be the best coach possible, but in due time, I have to also show that I can do that myself instead of being that, fat coach. It's like, do this, do that, go run. I want to be able to say I have all the accolades and I only have a few years left in this, fight world, whether it's one more year or 10 more years. I want to, go out with a bang and, me fighting Nkosi again just shows how dominant I am when I get to finish. And then after that, we see where the world takes me next. But I know it's always big things.
Well, Shorty, I wish you the best of skill on December 15th. And if there's anyone that you would like to thank before I let you go, let's do it.
Man, His Highness Sheikh Khalid, if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here in Bahrain. I wouldn't be doing all this stuff. So thank you so much. It's an honor. I guess I have to give a shout out to our mutual friend, Josh Augustine, for letting me sleep on his floor. Super nice guy. Let's see. Trying to think what else. And just all my sponsors, man, my team, KHK, Combat Dough, Extreme Couture, everyone that's been able to help me out this whole year. It's been the Nkosi year, is what I like to call it. 2023 has been my Nkosi year. And I'm excited for this chapter to be over, like a bad relationship, and be able to move on with my life and see what happens next, flourish into something better. But man, Brave's been taking care of me, and I got to give a shout out to Brave because everyone here, especially being here so early for this fight, it's been so helpful. So just, I can't say any better things about it. So I'm excited, guys, for you tune in. I'm going to be putting everything on my Instagram of how to watch the fight for free in the States, the time it might be on, when I might fight, because I know the time difference is crazy, and you'll still be able to enjoy the rest of your Friday night. And man, I'm ready to put on a show, and I'm telling you, the shows here in Bahrain, since they're home, it's it's nothing like you've ever seen before. So I'm excited. I'm very happy, and I appreciate your time, man. And that's why I do say we can do well together. We are Team Shorty. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Shorty, for your time. I look forward to having you back very soon.